Fugue number 20, Consumer Cooperative Bookstore. De-skilled and vomiting gold fog, the register of factory, their words stepping on the pedal of your tongue. Email de-skilled my tongue, how it could hover with your raw parts, vomiting gold. Vomiting gold. You bag a book, watch it go through the bindery and pulp at both ends. On Monday, your manager confiscated your N. On Friday, your O. You try to say no. It's just a scab in the air. During the Friday rush, you think you're being eaten alive by a pack of small dogs. On Monday, you realize that's too dramatic. You're just a chew toy for know-it-all adjuncts of the ruling class, which might be worse. Anyway, you go to say this to your coworker, but you both end up vomiting gold. So yeah, I'm here to read from my latest book, Fugue and Strike. It's a book in two parts. That's from the first part, which is semi-biographical. It's finding a musical form for all the havoc of the last 4 years while living in the city of Buffalo. You know, during the pandemic, the uprisings of 2020, bad jobs, good friends, and just a kind of sense of being stuck on a loop as the larger world changed dramatically and irrevocably. The second part is about garbage and waste, which is why I have this paper scrap bouquet provided by India Johnson, the amazingly talented bookmaker, printer, and community maker. So there are a lot of garbage stuff is in a free zine that is on the table back there, so please take one of those. India designed it. It's really marvelous, so check that out. I may not read a bunch of garbage stuff, but you should still, take that garbage with you. All right, so here's another poem about bad jobs. This is called Laid Off at a Cannabis Grow in the County. So this is a true story. Mist pebbles, plastic sheeting, the hoop house grid, pot doubles us over seed tray tables and wraps our backs in fists of stress muzzles and squeezes. Seeds spill, volunteer cannabis rises, engenders unsupervised as I tap the time clock app before a gas station lunch with Nightlight, whose ship is a fungus threaded through its crew, a game they carry in their mind before we all get fired on a whim but leave our technique behind for some beard and Ray-Bans who wishes his phone were a gun. Sun drops on green hands, pressed by paychecks into oil. The fugue 41, dropped on green hands, grown into green hands, and crushed into oil. So, pretty soon there's going to be, psilocybin capitalists and, people hating their mushroom jobs. The next poem we will do some garbage stuff. This next poem is about the most garbage people in Buffalo and organizations, and it's kind of a crude poem. You can kind of see my spasmodic settler brain at work, given how it fails in its imagination. But its goal is to name names following the poet Brandon Shimoda's idea that what those whose violence is sheltered by the current power structure desire, people whose violence is normalized and made invisible by the current power structure. What they desire in regard to that violence is what Shimoda calls the gift of oblivion. And part of this owes a lot to reporting by Aaron Lowinger, a poet, journalist, and social worker. And the names you're not going to know, so you can fill in the names of members of your own city and county power structure in this order: racist developer, white supremacist sheriff, Crime Panic Business Association, and heinous cops. I'm sure you have all of those. So this is called People Finder Buffalo. 1, Can't dream the economy because it's good, they might repo the economy. Your bed is good, can't dream because the economy is, they might repo your good dreams. The economy is can't dream because you good, the bad, the had to get a second economy to make the rent, that the body dream can be free. Where all economies, somebody are free, the common, in that freedom economy, communion only dream in that repo. Freedom and freedom repo could only be. 2, Carl P. Key hangs out at JT's Fungus Mouth, JT's Normie Horror Value Cube, Urban/JT's Carl Palladino hangs out at the dismal horizon of stage 4 Italian gentroids. You can, 905 Elmwood bar fight. 3, Sheriff Tim Howard arrests Tim Howard for murder and spends the night looking the other way as Tim Howard knocks Tim Howard's head against the hardness of the Erie County Holding Center, whispering, "Murderer, murderer, murderer." Footnote: as of August 30th, 2022, 30 people have died in the Erie County Holding Center under Sheriff Tim Howard. And you can learn more with the footnotes in the book. 5, the Allentown Association finds Allentown too queer, trans, butch, and non-binary and lodges a zoning complaint to evict Allentown from Allentown so Allentown can quietly be plaqued in a dead, appropriately affluent Oregon. 7, Officer Tedesco stops Officer McAllister outside of his house in Kenmore, his house from which an American flag flies with one blue bar. Officer Tedesco demands Officer McAllister stop and show him his hands. Officer Tedesco then beats Officer McAllister within an inch of his life, so Officer Parisi, who was circling Meng Park, steps out of his vehicle and shoots Officer Tedesco 38 times. Officer Parisi and McAllister write a false report at the station. Officer Tedesco files a false report in hell. Narcotics detective Joseph Cook, during a drunk no-knock raid on the police station, stumbles and kills Officers Parisi and Tedesco. They were all thrown a parade by the Minister of Flies. All the people come to lick their shining leather while the chief of police reads collaborative fiction applause. So from garbage people to a riverside trailer park I used to live in. This poem's called On Other Water. Where I lived in the winter without heat, waking to swans' fleets on the fingered inlet. What did I love? The nutria's orange teeth. And who else was poor here and swam naked where travelers were? What heavy industry's century makes it take on its humped back? The community boat in an inner lake, waiting as the currents shift and clouds swell with rain. From Rack and Image Farms, trails of gorgeous planets, letters of frost, due by 9.